Yeah, I think the red eyes got me there at the end. I bet there were a bunch of you watching thinking, "Oh, Sir Hairless, you don't know what's to come." Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. We are back with Voctave, and this is O Come All Ye Faithful. Thank you for this Patreon request. Voctave opened up our 2024 Christmas season on the 1st of December with Mary Did You Know? That was super nice. If you end up enjoying this video and you haven't seen my video on that one yet, please do check it out afterwards. And now Voctave are finishing off our Christmas chunk. Well, nearly finishing off. It's not quite the last Christmas video that I will be doing this year. It's our second time doing O Come All Ye Faithful. The previous time, that was last Christmas, and that was Pentatonix's version. They put a huge twist on it. They definitely changed the feel of this very traditional carol. That one is well worth checking out as well. This being Voctave, I'm expecting quite a few things. Some huge sounds rife with dissonance, which is weird saying about such a traditional carol. In my opinion, it's not the most exciting of the carols. It's one that I find usually comes towards the end of a carol service or Christmas concert, kind of like a huge group activity with everyone taking part. It's very easy to remember the melody and to sing. Fun descant, to be fair, and that would be very well suited for Voctave's soprano, who seems to have no upper limit, Kate Lott. So I kind of hope that they do change the carol up quite a bit, and let's get straight into it to find out.
O come, let us adore Him. O come, let us adore Him. O come, let us adore Him. Christ, Christ. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye, O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold Him, born the King of angels. O come, let us adore Him. O come, let us adore Him. O come, let us adore Him. Christ, 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 Christ the Lord.
Well, I was waiting for the end of that verse, and we get it with this key change. We've gone from G to B, so moving up, which indicates that we're going to be seeing some growth if we think of it as moving up a major third. Straight through there as well. This is quite a long one. It's about 5 minutes, so we're going to do our first pause here. If you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. Overall, in terms of the arrangement, there's not too much that happens for the first, 45 seconds or so. So I'll skim over the first section, but there are some things that I'd just like to point out in general about this. And one of them is, we clearly have a star of this performance, and that's EJ Cardona. We have seen him before outside of Voctave, and that is with voice play. But there are moments when the rest of Voctave all turn and look at him, which I think is nice. And it's what they did with Mary Did You Know when they had the song's writer of the lyrics, Mark Lowry, performing with them. It's a nice touch, and it's very much enhanced by the fact that there is no choreography. They're standing completely still. So something as simple as turning your head can really have much more of an impact. Interesting opening. Not your typical opening at the start of the carol, all in unison. break into very simple harmony there, hinting at this idea of growth, which then is kind of removed actually a bit later on, where we do get this huge sound. And that's really impactful, isn't it? There we go. We've got EJ singing. Everyone is looking at him in appreciation. Solo a cappella line grabs our focus in the complete opposite way to a wall of sound, as I so often see these huge sounds that they make be called. As for the harmony, starts off very standard. We do get some nice funky chords, which I'll probably go into in a second, but this was the first moment of something a bit non-standard. Here we get a suspension that does not resolve. We've got the alto line there. That second note is what we want to hear, which is here. But it does not move down, it does not resolve, and it stays here amongst this chord. So we're left with this unresolved chord. Still quite pure sounding though, considering the musical context of everything else. Everything so far has been very chordal, homophonic, everyone singing the same words at the same time in the same rhythms, moving with each other. This unresolved suspension leads into the first real deep bass sound. And now we see movement starting to happen in the other parts, not strict homophony. A bit more melismatic, again, the altos with that role. The alto part so often in choral music does have the harmonic role, having those suspensions. As someone who grew up singing alto myself as a countertenor, it's often considered a boring part because you don't have the melody. You're not this harmonic rock underneath everything else in the basses. You don't have those tenor moments where everyone just goes, whoa. But the roles are so important. And here... and a real dissonance on that part. I'll point it out. And we get these fermatas, which we can just think of as a prolonged note, usually at the end of a phrase, but it doesn't have to be at the end of the phrase. See, on the first half of him, we'd expect it to be the do or him, but they go do or him. And then this notion of elongation, rhythmic augmentation, making the notes longer, the sound bigger, really comes in here. Leading into a climax, but we don't get the climax, we get the opposite. We get EJ coming in. Definitely an interesting choice, having him coming in just by himself.
Joyful and triumphant.
Very delicate sound he's using. We know how ridiculous of a voice he has and how powerful it is. I don't know what's going to come in the second half. He had the solo. Other parts gradually join him in unison. Harmony, suspension that does resolve there, ending the phrase in unison, back into harmony. So there's a lot of this notion of harmony, unison, one person singing, everyone singing, big sound, quiet sound, whilst staying very calm and gentle overall, keeping us on our toes.
Amen, behold him.
There's the first kind of funky harmony that I have come to expect from Voctave, even though this is only my 4th time hearing them, actually. If you want to see my previous Voctave reactions, you can find them in the playlist up here or linked below. As usual, there are certain parts that we tend to focus on more. In my case here, it's the bass part and the chromatic inner upper part.
Born the King of...
So the bass part, who has a repeated note, the first of which is kind of the anchor of the dissonance on that first chord.
Born the King of it.
And then the chromatic line in the middle. Vocal control there, really wow, of such a continuous crescendo all the way through, and then the vibrato coming out towards the end, being supported by this also crescendoing, this growing homophonic sound, very chordal. That is a great example of how to work as a group and have this group sound whilst also having a clear soloist in the front. Okay, well, let's continue from that key change that we got.
Christ the Lord, of angels, sing in exaltation, sing, O ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, all glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Christ, Christ the Lord, we
They're liking the key changes here, aren't they? So earlier we went from G to B, and now we've gone to F. Or if we think of it as going from here to here, and then to here, which would be almost an octave jump. If we think of it like that, though, we can expect some pretty crazy high things, either from the sopranos or E.J. Cardona. We know that's probably something he loves doing. If anyone's capable, it's him. Well, I've paused now, so let's just go over that last section. I really liked some of that last section, actually. That was giving me a bit of the old tingles in my arms and my back. After that climactic top note from EJ, he steps back, and then it becomes Voctave again, not a obvious soloist. There were elements of the descant coming in and out, and I was thinking, oh, they've somehow put it into the arrangement, then it gets removed, and then it comes in the second soprano part, if we can refer to it as that. I mean, still really high. This is the famous descant that many of you probably know.
sing in exaltation.
Up the octave, of course, working in lovely contrary motion against the bass part. Do, 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 dum, dum.
Sing in exaltation.
And there's something to this homophony here that's so regimented, but in a casual way.
Sing, O ye citizens of heaven.
I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but it's I don't know what I'm even trying to say at this point. Let's carry on.
Glory to God.
Chromatic inflections now again. I'm just going to call it that Voctave harmony. From the few times I've heard them before, I know that they can go a lot more dissonant with it. They are clearly keeping things quite restricted in the funky department. I see it as being respectful to a very well-known and probably well-loved traditional carol. And there was something about this bit as well.
Glory in the highest.
We have the repeated...
Glory in the highest.
and that jump down, but then the lower part, I kind of also expected to move down, but it doesn't. They finish in the unison. Which allows for this nice opening up into harmony, but not the same harmony we have heard before. Starting the phrase in unison, the main tropes for me are the unison versus multiple part singing, which is really mostly homophonic. We do get some polyphony in there, and also static parts, really enriching the harmony. Because if you have a static part and other parts are moving around it, there will be these temporary dissonances and consequent resolutions, but they're quite subtle. The static part that stands out to me here, and there's that other part of the descant, that octave jump. which then carries on, etc., etc. But no, we then go back into homophony. I am naturally drawn to the bass part because it has a stepwise rising motion underneath everything else. And what does it do? Oh, well, it changes the harmony on its way back down. Doing this jump. If we move all the notes up to make it a bit easier to hear, well, we end up in this chord. G sharp minor, that's not where we were expecting to be. Pulled straight back, but they are sure to get another chromatic inflection in there. We've got the usual just mad soprano lines, really, and the key change, and it looked like EJ came back. So EJ had the solo, stepped out, and now he's coming back, it seems. There's a couple of minutes left. Let's carry on till the end. Sorry, I have to. I'll go back, but there's the Voctave dissonance. They did it. They did it fine. I concede. I think the red eyes got me there at the end. I mean, that was a strange one. That really just grew on me almost exponentially as we went through. When it started off, I'm not going to say I wasn't sure about it, but it wasn't my favorite Christmas video that I've done. Let's put it that way. And then we had that second section where I was thinking, okay. And then that last... Oh, I know there'll be comments down below. Earlier on when I was saying they haven't really added in much funkiness in terms of the harmony and stuff. They've stayed respectful to the original. I bet there were a bunch of you watching thinking, oh, Sir Hairless, you don't know what's to come. I really enjoyed that last section. Let's just go through just a few things. That last section to me was not about new ideas per se. Yeah, we got a lot of new harmonies, but it was mostly just an elongated climax, essentially. The first part, preparation. The second part, things are now underway. A longer performance, like I say, 5 minutes. And then the last 1 minute, completely, maybe 1.5, 2 minutes, just like a wow moment. So, AJ starts. Key change. Sustained notes, again, real prominent feature. Now, the sustained notes disappear, and what happens? I mean, come on. We have just switched completely now. It's jazz, essentially, right? And the bass part, the real harmonic roll in its descent, like we saw earlier, but this time it's much less harmonically standard. Born this happy morn. Born this happy morn. But So many other parts as well are just creating this rich harmony. I'm not going to go in and pick out every part. We get some really cool and complicated chord changes here. I would need to listen quite a few times to transcribe them accurately. See, again there, the descending bass. Do, 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 do. It strips away our expectations that come from our knowledge, our understanding of the traditional carol. And when I say our expectations, I don't mean literally. We know they're going to change it, but naturally, if we know a song, that's what we know. We don't know other versions that we haven't heard yet. So we're expecting what we know to come, and the changes here really are drastic from a harmonic perspective. I like them. Another compulsory EJ shout out, I feel. I like that. We've had a sort of climax, and now we've reduced. So what's coming next?
Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come.
Okay, things are softer, calmer. EJ here is using a head-dominated blended voice rather than his chest voice here. Why? Because it's a quieter, softer sound. More air in the voice.
Let us adore him.
Crazy high soprano note, quietly. Harmony, again, mostly standard with the occasional passing note and stuff that make it a bit non-standard. And then things just go a bit nuts. And EJ's last note, how long does he hold this on for? He changes note as well. Nice modulations. Yeah, that was about 25 seconds or so. Wow. Well, let's leave that one there. O come, all ye faithful, Voctave. Super solid arrangement, super choice of soloist, amazing group sound. Straight up, I got completely finessed by the arrangement. I got completely done. And I think this is the most contrasting of any arrangement I've heard in terms of how much I prefer one half to the other half. Overall though, yeah, just super solid, super solid. Well, this is nearly the end of our Christmas season. I hope you've had a wonderful December, a wonderful festive period so far, and a lovely Christmas to come, and a very happy new year. Thank you, as always, for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. To keep me warm and cozy, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link below, or to join the community, get access to exclusive content not on YouTube, you can join the Patreon linked on the screen now. And I will see you next time.